I had a rough idea of what to expect, but not really. I heard the rev of an engine behind me.
It was a very sophisticated operation.
He was so close, in fact, that I could look directly at the driver's face.
The intelligence was perfect. The implementation was perfect.
I screamed, "Hit the deck, hit the deck."
The biggest non-nuclear explosion since World War II.
06:30 on a Sunday morning, Beirut, Lebanon. Everybody was asleep.
The Marines were sent to Lebanon as part of a U.S. peacekeeping mission. What Washington and U.S. officials did not realize at the time that there was not a whole lot of peace to keep. This was a time of civil war in Lebanon, complete chaos. Everybody was fighting against everybody. It was law of the jungle. Nobody was anticipating an attack of such lethality.
I remember it sounded like a 2x4 at a distance, breaking.
This was a military compound that did not actually have the most perfect security measures.
Then I heard the rev of an engine behind me, and I saw this truck. He was inside the compound. He was so close, in fact, that I could look directly at the driver's face. He and I looked at each other, and he put that smile.
It's ironic that the last face that was seen was a smiling face.
I saw the truck come to a stop, dead center of that lobby. Dead silence in the lobby. You could hear a pin drop.
The driver who was driving that Mercedes truck knew exactly where to strike.
The first thing I said was, "Son of a bitch, he did it." And then the next thing I saw was a bright orange flash.
The biggest non-nuclear explosion since World War II. It was so massive that everybody in Beirut heard it.
And what was the roof at 40 feet high was now on the ground beside me, all cracked, just mangled. I remember looking over my shoulder, and there was one Marine back here, moaning, help me, God, help me, somebody please help me." There was a black Marine in the rubble I couldn't get to. He didn't make it. I blame myself for what happened. I was a sergeant of the guard. I was ultimately responsible for the security of that BLT that morning. That was my job. I couldn't do it. I didn't do it.
It's one of the more unknown or unheralded episodes of our involvement in the Middle East. It shows that, unfortunately, terrorist activity, if severe enough and harmful enough, could deter or change our policy. I think, the size of the catastrophe is one thing.
Right.
What it means up to today. And
right.
there's
That's
so many
different.
angles in this.
This is my squadron.
This single attack, as has been argued by a number of analysts, terrorism analysts, was the most effective terrorist attack in the history of terrorism.
The attack on Beirut is seen as one of the most, or maybe the beginning of the spectacular attacks against not only U.S. but any targets.
This is not to be confused with Al-Qaeda terrorism. At the time, nobody knew, nobody had heard actually of Al-Qaeda.
This may become more of a historical lesson of why we are there. It's not something that just happened just because of 9/11. There is a connectivity.
What the United States government has not learned is to appreciate the gravity and understand the root causes of terrorism. Now, does the chapter end, does the story end there? No, because Hezbollah is still there.
What happened in Beirut most likely was a direct Iranian attack against us.
Hezbollah is still there, Iran is still there. And as long as that association is solid, there will always be an axis in that part of the region, in the Middle East, that will always resist U.S. ambitions and undermine U.S. interests in the Middle East.